beginning of time, there was nothing but the yawning void of chaos. From chaos came Gaia, the earth, Tartarus, the place below the earth, and Eros, the god of love. Next came night, day, and Erebus, the dark light of Tartarus. Gaia gave birth to Uranus, the sky, and to the mountains and the sea. She married Uranus, and their children were the 100 Handles, the Cyclops, and the mighty Titans.
June the 16th. I've decided that the best place to start looking for relics would be among the places Lady Hestia mentions in her book. I shall take a ferry to Greece.
August the 3rd. I arrived at Athens and I have come to Sunion to see if I can find any antiquities at the ruined temple of Poseidon. I did manage to find some graffiti which was left by Lord Byron. I did think about chipping it off and taking it away, but it was too heavy. We're at the temple of Sunion, which is one of the places that Byron visited. It's a temple to Poseidon, the god of the sea, and we're surrounded on almost all sides by the sea here. Now, Byron left a piece of his graffiti, unfortunately, and you can still see it to this very day. This is the place where King Aegeus, the father of Theseus, threw himself off to his death in the sea on the return of his son Theseus from Crete. Now Theseus, when he went to Crete, had sworn to replace the black sails on his ship with white ones so that his father would know he defeated the terrible Minotaur in the labyrinth and was safe. But forgetting to do that, his father saw the black ship's sails coming and threw himself to his death, which is why the sea all around us is known as the Aegean. Mythology, which was supposedly first published in 1825, has quite an interesting history because it was written by a lady called Lady Hestia Evans, who travelled to Greece in the footsteps of Lord Byron, the English poet, and she wanted to see what she could find out about the myths of gods, monsters and heroes of ancient Greece. Now, she travelled in Albanian disguise because it was quite a dangerous place to visit as a single woman traveller at that time, and when she got back to England she wrote up her notes into a book, Mythology. Now this book was published with spaces at the side so that students could make their own marginal notes, and she gave a copy of the book to her friend John Oro. Now he was also interested in ancient Greek matters and travelled out to Greece himself to visit the ancient sites and also to see if he could dig up any antiquities. He wanted to give any antiquities that he found to Mr. Batakis, who was setting up a museum in Athens. But as the book progressed, Mr. John Oro became more interested in the power of the ancient gods and started to think that he might like to keep the antiquities that he'd found for himself and take them out of the country. So there's a bit of a twist that goes on in his story. August the 6th, north of Athens. I survived an earthquake today. They're common here, but it could be a warning from Zeus that Lady Hestia is actually in league with the Greeks to defraud me of my treasures. September the 30th. I found a cave on the mountain. I read a hymn to Zeus. The sky darkened. I shouted to the god that I would be his forever if he would give me the power to turn things to gold. October the 1st, Olympus. Having now read the full story of Midas, I begged Zeus to take his gift back, but thunder rumbled like laughter. There is no hope. I touched my chest, and now I too am turning to gold. I must write a letter, a warning, before it is too late for me to hold this pen anymore.
Well, I think that, like all of the ologies, mythology is cram-packed, full of fantastic artwork, things to do, to look at,
envelopes to lift, all sorts of things that we've put in it. I think they'll enjoy reading the story of John Oro, and I think they'll be fascinated to read the legends of these monsters, gods and heroes from ancient Greece.
It started off with Doug's brief, and then the brief told me which period of time historically the story was going to be set in, which then allowed me to research printed and published material of the time. I was also able to organise a trip to the British Museum to have a look at their Greek artefacts and things like that as well.
My favourite bit, well, I really love the bit where the gods are attacking the Titans. That picture's really great, and I've always been fascinated by, you know, how Zeus overcame his father Cronus.
My favourite bits of the book are towards the end with the quill pen and the note paper. Hopefully that will give children and adults alike the inspiration to pick up the pen and write their own poses like Byron. We
tried to do more or less a spread on 2 or 3 gods and some of the most important legends about them. We've got a little retelling of the Odyssey, and we've got 2 pages on the Trojan War. So I hope that we've managed to cover everything.
Jason was sent on a dangerous mission by a king who feared him and hoped he would not return. He was ordered to fetch the golden fleece from Colchis by King Peleus. He gathered together the Argonauts, a group of demigods and heroes that included Orpheus and Heracles, and set off in a ship called the Argo. When he reached Colchis, the king would give Jason the fleece only if he could perform certain tasks. The king's daughter Medea, a sorceress, offered to help. She gave Jason a flame-resistant ointment so he could yoke 2 fire-breathing oxen and plough a field. Next, Jason had to sow dragon's teeth, which grew into terrible armed warriors. Medea told him to throw a stone among them, whereupon the warriors, not knowing who had thrown the stone, began to fight and soon killed one another. Then Medea took Jason to the fleece, which was being guarded by a dragon. She used her magic to put the dragon to sleep so that Jason could take the fleece and return home.
Yeah, I've been very surprised by the success of the Ology series. Ever since we brought out Dragonology with the Templar, it seems to have taken the imagination of children all over the world, and well, it's great.